It's really not, which is why we have to continually watch those numbers. Okay? So now we have to come up with one more thing. So now we start to talk about power. You guys, and power we see is work divided by time. So here's what we also need to be able to put all this together. Because if we're taking longer to deliver more force, we are doing less work and generating less power. Wouldn't you love to be the person that wrote that training program? Sorry, you just lost your job. Okay? And this is what's interesting. What scares some people when you think about all of this, some people fall victim to trendy training. Okay? We went through a big, and you guys, we are in an industry that shifts. Do you realize that? Okay, people always go with the next newest best thing. Okay? You guys, for a while, everybody on the planet, even the football players, everybody, man, everything I would have Colton do, he would be doing it on a stability ball because they were new and they were cool. Guess what stability balls did to force production? They decreased force production because guess what? While you're balancing on a stability ball, you're recruiting different muscle fibers than you actually need to be awesome at generating power and force. I don't need Colton standing doing overhead presses with one leg on a stability ball.
Colton can't do that.
Okay, I mean, but there was a trend about 10 years ago to where we had every single athlete upside down on a Bosu ball with one arm like this. You know, I'm like, what were we thinking? Okay, I'm just gonna say, if you look back at some of the strength and conditioning coaches that were at major universities that were buying into that, and you look at the losing seasons that those teams had, it's across the board. You guys, and those coaches are unemployed right now, and I know 3 of them. Okay? Because they went with the trend and they forgot the science. They thought, oh, well, this person's posting this athlete standing on one leg on a Bosu ball doing overhead presses. Who needs to be really good at standing on one leg on a Bosu ball doing overhead presses?
Pitcher.
No? Is that the answer?
I mean, do you see how we're doing something that is, now granted, I might do something that's stupid and fun one day in my workout just to do something stupid and fun in a workout because I like to challenge all that stuff. But if I'm training a specific athlete that way, you know, I do love that you thought maybe a brief moment for a pitcher. Okay? But, I mean, that's all of a sudden trying to make the athlete fit the movement instead of the movement fit the athlete. That's interesting. We're putting the cart before the horse. So we have to remember how that all comes together. So don't forget the laws. Don't forget the laws. Because if all of a sudden, if you're measuring these things and something's going wrong, it's going to be because it's all started with force production. It all starts with force production. Whether it's over the long haul or whether it is acutely. Y'all have no force production in this room. Y'all have no, okay, sit down, jump up, go. Jump, jump, force production, go. Force production, go. Nice, very nice. Moving around a little bit. Okay, so now another thing that all this allows us to do is when we think about these things, it allows us to keep up with the volume of a workout. Okay, does anyone know how V-O-L-U, that didn't look right. Does anyone know how to keep up with the volume of a workout? What? That could be a variable.
Overall weight, 5 reps, right?
Okay, so you do sets times reps times weight, or in some variables, I like what Colton said, you could also include time in there, because that's an important part. Now, if you are go,
So
what?
I was gonna say, that's not volume though, is it? Isn't it just a part of volume?
What do you?
Like, doesn't it just describe, like, how much volume you did within that time frame?
Yes and no.
Well,
It-
Coleman's right, let's just leave it there.
Okay, but what I want you to remember when we think about an aspect of time, when you're thinking about the volume of a workout, that amount of recovery time that I give athletes between sets could actually play into the total volume of the workout. Because if I'm working with a sprinter and I'm on 100-meter repeats with a 15-second recovery window, then that definitely plays into the overall volume of the workout. So it doesn't come into every workout, but there are some that does come into a variable. Does that make sense? Okay, so here's what we need to understand. If we're paying attention to force production, work, and to power, we've gotta be keeping up with how much, how often, when, and where. How many of you approach the gym without a plan? Okay. You need to have a plan, because let's just say, for instance, let's just say you're working 3 sets. Let's just do easy math. I always tell you I do easy math. Let's just say you're doing, let's just say you're doing bench, because that's what everyone does first, right? Is bench and biceps. That's why we have T-Rex arms. Okay, so you're doing 3 sets. You're doing 10 reps, and you're at 200 pounds. Okay. So someone do the math with me here. 3 times 10 is what? 30 times 200 is? What is it? Okay. That's my total volume on that workout. Okay. Now, what you have to ensure is that every single time in your next workout, you have to be at least at 6,000 volume, or you're not going to be getting stronger. So that's why you have to keep up with what you're currently doing, or else the workout that you're doing could have you be getting weaker instead of stronger. Now, I do think that we need to stay up with volumes on all of our major lifts for yourself. You need to know what you squat. You need to know what you can bench. You need to know what you can deadlift. You need to know what you clean. You need to know what you hang clean. You need to know those things, because if you're occasionally not, now there might be a day, but check this out. Let's just say you're having a day where you're trying to go up. All right, so let's just say we're still gonna go with 3 sets, but I'm gonna add a bunch of weight, so I'm only gonna pull 6 reps. But all of a sudden, I'm gonna end up putting 240 on the bar. Someone math that out for me. Math that for me. 3 times 6 times 240.
4,320.
Okay, 4,320. Now, here's what we need to understand. For a brief moment, this is gonna look like it's a decrease in volume. But this is also a downshift. Here's what's gonna happen. The next time, remember how we were talking about the workout yesterday, or on Monday, where it becomes the new normal? This is your current normal. You're actually asking your body to do a lot more. Now, that is pretty reasonable. To go up 40 pounds and then to actually decrease the reps, that's doable. Now, if all of a sudden, what if you decided you were going to do, and this could be a regression set, a regression work. Let's just say you did just 1 set and you did 3 reps and you actually took it up to 260. What's 3 times 260?
780.
Okay, now here's where this comes into play. What if this right here was just your bench workout for 1 day, and you added these 3 numbers up to determine your total volume? Then the next time you worked with that different regression pattern, if that total number was not higher, you're not getting stronger. You've got to be thinking about the numbers when you work out, which is why you guys, I've been writing my workouts down for 20 years. I have books of workout about where, and now you can track and you can see when I've gotten stronger and when I've gotten weaker and when I've gotten stronger and when I've gotten weaker. And you know what? All of a sudden I'll be like, gosh, I haven't gotten stronger in a while, and I'll go back and I'll look and I'm like, well crap, that's why. This formula will work for everyone if you continue to monitor the total volume of your workout. And if all of a sudden you pay attention to force production, your total body mass, and your ability to accelerate it. Okay? You wanna know what was interesting? Whenever I changed my nutrition program and I actually weighed less mass, I actually found that I was able actually to accelerate faster running. I weighed less, I could run faster, so even though my force production was even the same or more, because that's how much faster I got. Because we learned that the only way to run faster is to run faster.